Oh, we have fun. It's the same group of friends we've played for years, and we don't play for a lot of money.
Always picture him pulling a giant tuna up Main Street. Well, who doesn't, Rose?
Well, how are you?
Fine. I haven't seen you in a long time. I mean, except for last night, but I mean, it's been...
Betty White, adored by millions, wasn't loved by everyone, including her Golden Girls co-star, Bea Arthur. Despite sharing the screen for years, their relationship was far from friendly, marked by personal differences and contrasting acting styles. Arthur's tough exterior and sharp wit clashed with White's warmth and charm, leading to ongoing tension that couldn't be ignored by those who worked with them. But the real shock comes from White herself. Bea Arthur was not fond of me. Why did such a beloved figure face such coldness from her own co-star?
Yes, between the Lindstroms and the Johanssons.
Oh, that great herringbone.
How Betty White captivated hearts for over 7 decades. Betty White, born on January 17, 1922, in Oak Park, Illinois, and passing away on December 31, 2021, in Brentwood, California, was an iconic American actress whose career spanned more than 70 years. Throughout her life, she brought laughter to millions through her roles on numerous television sitcoms, including The Mary Tyler Moore Show and The Golden Girls. While her career is often remembered for the joy she spread, her impact went far beyond just making people laugh.
Well, actually, we were on 2 years live before we went on film. We went on film in 1952.
Betty White's entertainment career began in the 1940s with radio performances in Los Angeles. By 1949, her charm earned her a regular spot on Hollywood on television, where she quickly rose from performing various tasks to hosting the show. In 1952, she co-founded Bandy Productions, giving her creative control over her work, an uncommon achievement for women at the time. That same year, she launched the sitcom Life with Elizabeth, where she not only starred but also produced, showcasing her talent both in front of and behind the camera.
Sweetheart, I've always thought of you as a fine broth of a lad. I'm beginning to think some of your noodles are missing, though.
Come with me, I'll show you. Come on. Come on, come on.
Life with Elizabeth continued until 1955, and by that time, Betty White had firmly established herself as a versatile and talented entertainer. But her work didn't stop there. In 1957, she starred in another sitcom, Date with the Angels, a comedic look at domestic life. Throughout the late 50s and 60s, Betty was a regular fixture on television, becoming a popular face on various game shows, including To Tell the Truth, What's My Line, and Password. It was on Password that she met Alan Ludden, the host, whom she married in 1963. Their marriage lasted until his death in 1981, forming one of the most beloved partnerships in television history. As the 70s approached, Betty's career took another significant leap when she joined the cast of The Mary Tyler Moore Show in 1973. On this groundbreaking sitcom, Betty played Sue Ann Nivens, the over-the-top, flirtatious host of a homemaking show. Her sharp, comedic timing and larger-than-life personality earned her critical acclaim and 2 Emmy Awards.
I've already prepared what I think is a very solid piece of copy on the recent mudslides in Alaska.
How do you take it?
Very seriously.
I'm into coffee.
Sue Ann Nivens was a role that cemented Betty White as a comedic powerhouse, capable of playing characters that were both hilarious and complex. The success of The Mary Tyler Moore Show could have marked the pinnacle of Betty's career, but she was far from finished. After the show ended in 1977, she went on to star in The Betty White Show, followed by guest appearances on popular series like The Love Boat and Mama's Family. However, it wasn't until 1985 that Betty landed what would become one of her most iconic roles, Rose Neeland on The Golden Girls. Set in Miami, The Golden Girls followed a group of older women navigating life and friendship in their golden years. Betty's portrayal of Rose, the sweet and often hilariously naive woman from St. Olaf, Minnesota, became a fan favorite. The role earned her 7 Emmy nominations and 1 win. The show was a huge success, running until 1992 and leaving a lasting cultural impact.
Thor felt like he was back with his mother, and he began eating and sleeping and frolicking. Yes.
Betty's ability to play such an endearing and optimistic character while also delivering punchlines with impeccable timing showcased her extraordinary range as an actress. But as time passed, so did the era of the Golden Girls. The show ended in 1992, but Betty's career continued to thrive. She reprised her role as Rose in the spin-off The Golden Palace for 1 season, and went on to appear in numerous series, including That 70s Show, Boston Legal, and The Bold and the Beautiful. Betty's talent knew no bounds, and she continued to win over new generations of fans with guest appearances on shows like The John Larroquette Show, for which she won an Emmy in 1996. This led to a fan-led Facebook campaign that successfully petitioned for her to host Saturday Night Live, making her the oldest person ever to host the show.
I can't believe this. I just can't believe I am hosting Saturday Night Live.
Her performance was a hit, earning her another Emmy and introducing her unique brand of humor to a whole new audience. Around the same time, Betty starred in Hot in Cleveland, playing the sharp-witted Elka Ostrovsky. The show ran until 2015, with Betty once again proving that age was no barrier to comedic brilliance. While Betty was known for her acting, she also ventured into reality television with Betty White's Off Their Rockers from 2012 to 2014. The show featured seniors playing pranks on younger generations, highlighting Betty's mischievous sense of humor. Even in her 90s, she continued to take on new roles, including a voice part in Toy Story 4 in 2019. She published several books, including Here We Go Again, My Life in Television, and If You Ask Me, and, of course, You Won't. Her legacy was honored with an induction into the Television Academy Hall of Fame in 1995. It's hard to imagine television without Betty White, a trailblazer who broke barriers for women in the entertainment industry. Her career spanned decades, and her influence on television, comedy, and even animal advocacy will be felt for generations to come. Betty White was more than just a beloved television star. She was a cultural icon who captured the hearts of millions with her humor, kindness, and resilience. As we reflect on her life, it's clear that Betty White was more than just an actress. She was a pioneer and a symbol of joy. Through every laugh and every role, she left an indelible mark on the world of entertainment. And in the end, her story reminds us that some stars shine brighter than others, even after they're gone. The untold rift between Betty White and Bea Arthur. Despite her wide-ranging popularity among fans and her fellow actors, there was one notable figure who did not share this affection. Bea Arthur, her co-star on the 80s and 90s hit sitcom The Golden Girls. This long-standing friction between Arthur and White was known to cast members and insiders, but the reasons for it remained unclear to many. Rue McClanahan, another co-star on the show, hinted at this tension, confirming that Arthur harbored specific dislikes, yet these remained puzzling to most who knew them both. The root of their disagreement has been speculated on for years, and part of the story was brought to light by Arthur's son, Matthew Sachs, who spoke about the tension in a 2015 interview.
Bea was not that fond of me, but I
why
loved...
no? I've heard that.
I don't know.
What is
I don't
that
know what
about?
I ever did. I don't know, but she was not that thrilled with me. But I loved Bea, and I admired her, and I just...
According to Sachs, Arthur had a habit of finding someone she could channel her frustrations toward, and in the case of the Golden Girls, White became that person. Arthur's sharp wit and tough exterior made her a formidable presence both on and off the set. This dynamic, fueled by conflicting personalities and different acting styles, led to an uneasy relationship between the two actresses. They worked together closely, sharing many scenes, but behind the laughter and camaraderie on screen, tension brewed. Arthur and White's disagreements were, in part, a result of their very different approaches to acting. Arthur, who was trained under the legendary Norman Lear, viewed sitcoms almost as theatrical performances, requiring big expressions and reactions. Her training was rooted in the stage, where boldness and projection were key. White, on the other hand, was more understated in her delivery, having honed her comedic skills on shows like The Mary Tyler Moore Show, where humor was subtler, relying on nuanced interactions and timing. This stark contrast made Arthur question White's acting abilities, believing she lacked the depth that she herself brought to her roles. What may seem like a minor difference in acting philosophy spiraled into a broader divide. Arthur, who had a prestigious Broadway background, viewed her craft as a serious art form. Meanwhile, White's career had roots in game shows and light-hearted television, which Arthur reportedly did not respect. Their different career trajectories only seemed to deepen the chasm between them. One might even ask, how could two women who brought such joy to the screen find so much discord behind it? This is a question that continues to intrigue fans of the show, but it serves as a reminder that even in the world of comedy, not everything is as harmonious as it appears.
The last couple of years, Bea just decided she didn't want to do situation comedy anymore, and and she was not comfortable. She wasn't happy, and some of the bloom rubbed off a little bit.
The tension between Arthur and White reached a pivotal moment when White won an Emmy Award before any of her fellow Golden Girls co-stars. While all of the actresses would eventually receive Emmys for their work on the show, Arthur was notably upset when White was the first to win. This moment, though outwardly celebratory for White, added a layer of resentment between the two, making it harder for them to repair their relationship as the show continued. The emotional stakes of their professional success were intertwined with their personal feelings. By the early 1990s, the tension had peaked, and Arthur decided to leave the show in 1992.
Why didn't you not?
Oh, yeah, because my positive attitude, I'm happy all the time, and that made me mad sometimes.
But as the saying goes, not all stories have happy endings. And yet, this one isn't entirely unhappy either. Though Arthur and White never became close friends, there are indications that Arthur's disdain for White was less personal than it appeared. Betty White, who outlived Arthur by over a decade, passed away in 2021 at the age of 99. Her passing was met with an outpouring of love and affection from fans around the world, a testament to the legacy she left behind. While her relationship with Arthur was complex and strained, it didn't overshadow her immense contributions to television. What remains is a fascinating glimpse into the private dynamics of two iconic actresses, a reminder that even those who bring laughter into the world may carry unresolved tensions behind the scenes. And yet, it's worth reflecting. We might never know the full truth of their relationship, but what's clear is that their unique dynamic shaped one of the most beloved sitcoms of all time. The rift between Betty White and Bea Arthur is a testament to the complexity of human relationships. Sometimes, those we work most closely with are the ones we struggle to understand. Perhaps their story is not one of enmity, but of two very different women, each brilliant in her own right, navigating the challenges of fame, success, and personal differences. And, as with many great stories, the truth lies somewhere in between. A legacy of love, laughter, and unshakable kindness. The world stood still on January 17th as Betty White's assistant, Kirsten Nicholas, shared a final, poignant message from the beloved actress.
I just want to thank you all for your love and support over the years.
A message Betty had intended for her fans on her 100th birthday. This deeply emotional video revealed a heartfelt connection that Betty had built with her audience over the years, an enduring bond that had spanned decades. As her longtime assistant posted the video on social media, it became clear that Betty had wanted to share one last note of gratitude. The warmth in her voice, even in her final days, spoke volumes about the love and admiration she had for those who supported her throughout her illustrious career. In that moment, Betty was not just a star. She was a friend to millions who had laughed, cried, and celebrated life through her work. Imagine the power of a single message, recorded just days before Betty's passing, intended for a birthday she would never see. It's a moment that makes you pause and reflect on what truly matters. On that day, Betty dressed up in a vibrant green top, eager to thank her fans and share one last moment of joy with them. Betty's kindness was effortless, said Valerie Bertinelli, another co-star and close friend. It was a sentiment echoed by many who knew her well. For Betty White, being kind wasn't something she had to think about, it was who she was. This natural kindness became one of her defining characteristics, just as much as her sharp wit and impeccable comedic timing. Valerie shared that Betty's kindness is what she would miss the most. More than the jokes, more than the laughter. It was her heart that made her special, and it's something that will never be forgotten. Reaching back through the decades, Betty White's career is a testament to the incredible power one person can wield when they lead with sincerity and kindness. From her earliest days in television in the late 40s to her iconic roles in The Golden Girls and Hot in Cleveland, Betty White was more than just a star. She was someone who used her platform for good, advocating for animal rights and numerous charitable causes, while never losing her down-to-earth, approachable nature. Even in her final years, Betty was creating moments of joy. She remained active, constantly engaging with her fans and continuing her charitable work. Betty's devotion to her audience was clear. She genuinely cared about the people who supported her, who watched her shows, and who laughed at her jokes. That level of dedication is rare in Hollywood, but Betty wasn't your typical star. She was genuine, and her sincerity shone through in everything she did, right up until her final days. It's not just her performances that people remember. It's who she was as a person. Betty White was known for her quick wit, her infectious smile, and her unwavering positivity. She had a way of making everyone around her feel special, from her co-stars to her fans. And even in the smallest interactions, Betty had an impact. As we reflect on her life, it's clear that Betty wasn't just loved for the roles she played. She was loved for who she was. Isn't that what we all strive for? To be remembered not just for what we do, but for who we are? Betty White achieved that in a way few others have. She became a national treasure, a cultural icon whose influence will continue to be felt for generations to come. Her final message was more than just a thank you. It was a reminder of the power of kindness, of gratitude, and of living a life full of love and laughter. As you think about Betty White's legacy, ask yourself, how will you be remembered? Will it be for the work you did, or for the person you were? Betty's life shows us that it's possible to have both, to leave behind a body of work that inspires and entertains, while also being remembered for the kindness and love you shared with the world. Betty White's life was a celebration of everything that makes life beautiful: joy, laughter, love, and gratitude. Her final message wasn't just for her fans, it was for all of us. A call to live life with as much kindness and warmth as she did. And that, perhaps, is her greatest legacy of all.